A difficult subject to talk about, but one which, as men, we need to come together on, have this discussion, have this debate, because it's absolutely crucial. We're losing so many men each year. The problem I'm talking about is male suicide. So this is an article from the Telegraph website. Male suicides in record spike amid concerns deaths were being wrongly recorded. Male suicide spiked more dramatically last year than at any point since records began amid concerns deaths were being wrongly recorded due to a high standard of proof. The male suicide rate rose in the UK for the first time since 2013 after 4,903 men killed themselves in 2018 at a rate of 17.2 per 100,000 of the population, according to the Office of National Statistics. So that is crazy. That means per 100,000 men in the population, each year 17.2 kill themselves each year, and that happens every year, and it's been ongoing. It seems like they've changed the standard of proof. That means these statistics are probably, if anything, being more accurately recorded. But those statistics are crazy. I broke this down into other ways that make it even more poignant, in my opinion. So 17.2 per 100,000. If you break that down, that's 1 in 5,813 men each year. So if you take a sample of 5,813 men, on average, one of those is going to kill themselves in the point of a year. If you magnify that over 10 years, that's 1 in 580 men. If you took, you can easily walk past 500 people. If you go to a busy supermarket, if you go to a busy shopping centre, you walk past 500 people in a few minutes. If you walk past 580 men, it's likely that over the next 10 years, one of those people is going to kill themselves. That is absolutely crazy. Wembley Stadium, football stadium in the UK, holds 90,000 people. If you filled that to capacity with men, in that year, 15 of those men in that stadium would kill themselves. That's how crazy it is. If you took 90,000 people, put them in a stadium, over the course of the next 12 months, the statistics would suggest 15 of those men in that stadium would kill themselves. I think that's absolutely crazy. This is the biggest killer of men under 45. If you're watching this video and you're under 45 years old, the most likely thing that is going to kill you over the next year is yourself. I think that's absolutely crazy, and something, as men, we need to come together and start making changes to ourselves, just support each other, try and make productive changes in society. They're going to change this. We'll continue reading this article. The dramatic jump is partly explained by a change in the threshold of proof, which a coroner or inquest jury is required to reach to record suicide while investigating an unnatural death. In July 2018, the High Court ruled that evidence only needed to point towards suicide on the balance of probabilities rather than the previous criminal benchmark of beyond reasonable doubt. So it seems up until this point, it was harder for the coroners to indicate it was caused by suicide. Now, if it suggests suicide, which, if anything, that the figures are probably being more accurately represented now, because it makes it, the coroners can point to suicide in an easier way. Anyway, I'll go on. The Office of National Statistics said it is likely that lowering the standard of proof will result in an increased number of deaths recorded as suicide, possibly creating discontinuity from previous years. However, the authorities said that the upward trend had already been noticed before the rule changed in mid-2018, suggesting other factors could be at play. So we're still going, even just taking in mind that the statistics are being recorded differently now, it seems like the trend was still going the wrong way. There's still factors out there in life that men, we need to be doing better to, just reverse this trend. It's so crucial. Elsewhere in the report, the suicide rate among 10 to 24-year-old females was found to have reached the highest level on record last year, 3.3 per 100,000, which amounted to an increase of 83% since 2012. So females still significantly less chance of killing themselves than men, but it's still a huge problem. So I'm not saying this is only a male-only problem, but definitely as men, we're hugely, disproportionately likely to kill ourselves than females. So this is something I want to address with this channel. I'm not saying this is something we can U-turn overnight. The traditional advice that you often hear is phone a line, something like Samaritans or, a suicide line, things like this. But the problem with these, I don't think they really help all men. Now, certainly if you're watching this video and you maybe feel suicidal or you've had those thoughts in the past, definitely consider that as a backup plan. If you're ever feeling terrible, phone someone like the Samaritans, because yes, they can help. But I think one of the differences between men and women is the statistics indicate that females actually attempt suicide more often than men, But the thing is, when men do attempt suicide, they do it with lethal intent, right? So, you know, women maybe feel suicidal and they attempt suicide, but when men attempt suicide, more often than not, it's done with much more lethal force, and they do it in a way that actually kills themselves, rather than it being, you know, an attempted suicide where, you know, thankfully in those situations, people can get the help they need, and, you know, it's not a loss of life. So, you know, this isn't something we can clearly just overturn overnight, but I want to add positivity into this channel. You know, drop me messages in the comments below if there's things you want me to address in this channel. You know, maybe you've been through bad times in the past. How have you addressed this? You know, I want to address just in my life, just to be a better person, self-development alone. You know, I want to increase the quality of my diet, you know, get more exercise, get more sleep, be more productive, be more self-fulfilled, because these are all things you can do, in my opinion, in your life that get you to a point where, you know, you're happy, even if you're not at the point of suicide. You know, the studies suggest something like 75% of people in the West, like the UK, 75% of people are unhappy, even if they're not depressed. They're living a life that is unhappy, and that's no way to live your life. You know, the UK, the West, whether you're watching this Canada, America, Australia, you know, English-speaking country most likely, you know, our countries are amazing. There's endless opportunities you have in the UK. You know, I'm so thankful as a person to have been born in the UK. You know, many great opportunities. You know, look, I've got the lights on. You know, I can afford this phone, have access to the internet, clean running water, electricity. Those should be, you know, a core thing that you should be able to build a happy life upon. You know, you've got so many more, such a higher quality of life than so many other people do in the world, but we still have this crazy suicide rate, so many people unhappy, unhappiness rates higher than they are in, you know, developing countries, poor countries. I think something like the average American has a same like happiness factor as someone in India who's on, you know, earns less than something like $2 a day. It's absolutely crazy. Things are totally upside down. So I just wanted to address that in this channel. I'd love to know your thoughts and comments if you have any experience on this. I think most people in the UK, probably the wider West, probably know either directly or indirectly through friends, family, someone that has killed themselves in the past. It's most likely going to be a male. The statistics would indicate if you know someone that's killed themselves, it's quite probable that it's going to be a male. Not to say this problem doesn't happen with women as well, but I think as men, this is something we need to support ourselves on. You know, this is why things like sport and like friendly competition are so great. You know, friendly competition between your friends, get involved in sport, eating well, eating cleanly, getting more sleep, being more productive, just being happy in your life. It's so critical. So that's what I'm going to concentrate this channels on over the forthcoming videos. It's going to be like, you know, just my life, getting more sleep, getting more exercise, eating better. So hopefully you enjoy those videos. Let me know in the comments below, because I really like your suggestions, your inputs. It's so important for moving this channel forward. Anyway, you know, a bit of a difficult video, but hopefully one we can gain a lot of positivity from. I hope you like it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see you in a future video.